I started recruiting, 25 years ago? So I've met a lot of people, recruited a lot of people. I think the last tally, I have over 60,000 hires in my career. Two biggest questions I get is, why am I not getting hired? And the second question I always get is, I get the interview, but no offer. And usually it's the same exact reason for a CEO that it is for, a janitor. They don't know about the company, they're not engaged, and they seem disconnected. Just recently, someone didn't get hired, and the reason being it was a Zoom interview, and they showed up in a dirty t-shirt and wasn't prepared, and was also eating during the interview. You would never go to an interview and actually speak to your hiring manager in a dirty t-shirt and eating. People don't treat Zoom as the same way as they would interact in normal behavior as an interview. So that's an issue. People need to learn how to be professional, even if it's over Zoom. They also don't know what they put on their resume. A lot of times they've lied so much on their resume and lied so much on their LinkedIn that they don't know what is what, and it's not cleaned up. The other reason is they don't close down their social media, and don't think for a minute that a hiring manager doesn't go on social media and actually look to see who you are, because they want to know who they're going to be working with. So if you're a party girl or a frat boy and you have that all online, then you're going for an executive job that is with a government credentials, you're not going to get hired. So those are some of the biggest reasons people don't get hired. Other things are out of your control. They ran out of money. The company is in the middle of a lawsuit. The owner decided to hire his daughter instead of hiring externally. Those are a lot of the reasons why people don't get hired. But it's not always your fault, but I always would take it as, you have to make it a job if you want a new job. If you want to change careers or you want to up your career, the biggest thing is what are you doing? How are you making it happen? If you're passively looking at job postings on LinkedIn and not actually going in depth of how to get that job, you're not going to get that job. It's like asking somebody out on a date. You don't just call them up or send them a text, and if they don't get back to you, you don't, respond. You actually have to follow up with the person, right? So if you call someone and they don't answer, you leave a message. You just don't call. I don't know why people don't leave messages anymore. Because also it does two things. It lets the hiring manager know what you sound like professionally over the phone, and it also shows that you want the position. Because who wants to work with somebody that doesn't really want to be there? That's only going to be there long enough to take a first paycheck and quit. If your LinkedIn does not match your resume, it's over. You're done before you get to the interview, because 9 times out of 10, the hiring manager hasn't even looked at your LinkedIn till right before you walk in the door. Then when they look at it and they see that you're on your LinkedIn page, you don't even look like that picture's 20 years old. That's an issue. Then there's also the fact that you have misspellings on your LinkedIn, or your dates don't match. So you've got this great resume that you had, you paid somebody like me $250 to fix, but at the same time, you didn't even bother to go to your LinkedIn page and make sure it matches. So that's a big thing. The other thing is their social media. People think, okay, well, my Facebook page is, closed down, or it's locked, or it's personal. That's fine. But did you do that also on Instagram? Did you check your Twitter page to make sure that you don't have anything on there that you were mad about something one day? People don't think about that, because the hiring manager may have a daughter that's the same age as you as a son, and she's going to be thinking, well, I don't want my kid around somebody like you, so I'm not going to hire you. So there's all kinds of things. Or provocative pictures. People don't think about it when they're posing online with these really provocative pictures, or with alcohol in their hand, or at a strip club. You don't want to have that on your social media. If you're serious about your career and you want your career to take you seriously, you have to absolutely make sure that you're doing everything you need to. I'm not saying you have to stay in your house and don't go out, but you also have to make sure you walk the talk. Don't walk into some place saying that you want a $500,000 a year salary, but you have frat boy pictures doing funnels on the weekend. They're not going to take you seriously. I think the biggest advice for people with LinkedIn is consistency. Because what they don't realize is that there's a thing called LinkedIn Recruiter, And you can go in and it gives an x-ray version of what you've done, where you've actually, are you actively looking for a job? And you tell somebody that you're not actively looking for a job, but we're not stupid as recruiters. We can see that you've applied to other jobs and you've put on your LinkedIn that you're open to work. So if you're not actually pursuing other jobs and you're trying to come off as a passive candidate, then you need to clean that up too. Because once they catch you in one lie, they're done. They're not going to hire you. I think the biggest thing that I would hire for our company would be integrity. Because if someone has no integrity and I find out, look, everybody's got a past. I don't care so much that maybe you got arrested 10 years ago for peeing in an alley. Okay, that's your business. But why did you lie to me about it when I said, have you ever been arrested? And I know that there's laws against certain things and there's ban the box, and I understand all of that. But I don't want to work with someone that can't be upfront with me or can't give me the respect to be truthful with me. And it doesn't actually be an arrest record, but it could be something else. Why did you tell me that you worked for 15 years for a company that you only worked 6 months for? Do you think that I'm not smart enough to find out? If I can work on a computer, I'm smart enough to find out where you worked. It's not going to be that difficult. So once I find out you're a liar and you lied about something so simple, then why would I take a chance in opening up the keys to my company to you? And my knowledge base. Why am I going to give you any of that? Also assuming that I should give it to you because you asked me for it. Why? I've got 25 years of experience doing what I've done. I've worked for major corporations and built out huge successful teams. Why am I going to give it to you when you've done nothing but an internship or you just graduated from college? That's my favorite. When somebody comes to me, they just graduated from college and they want me to give them $250,000 because they think they know sales. But they don't have a book of business and they don't own a suit. That's another thing. People don't even own, clothing that fit the market, but they want me to pay them that kind of money. Why? There has to be an understanding. There has to be a give and take. You could be fabulous, but if you're not giving me anything, why am I going to give you anything? Oh, being cocky in an interview. There's a difference between assuming the sell and telling someone that you want the job and want to move to next steps. It's another thing to tell someone to hire you. You don't tell a hiring manager, you're going to hire me. Don't come in and ask for the highest salary because they're going to expect you to do 10 times more than they probably would have if you took 10 grand less. That's the biggest advice I could give anybody. If the job range for the money says that it's $100,000 to $150,000, take $130,000 and shut up. Because when you go for your review, you'll get more money and you'll get that bonus. Because if that money was already slotted for it, the company will keep it there. People don't tell you that. But if you come in at $150,000, you better produce at $250,000 because they're going to can your ass. Because why keep you when they can hire somebody else $50,000 cheaper and they don't have to really work that hard at them? Just don't be a diva. I don't think people read the room anymore either. You get into an interview and you start talking and you're running your mouth and you're telling somebody all about you, but you never ask them any questions. You never ask the hiring manager, like, well, why did you take this job? If you know right now everything that you know, would you still take this job? And they've been there for 15 years. Maybe they wouldn't. Maybe the look on their face will tell you that you shouldn't take this job, that you should go to a different job interview. Because the only reason they took it is because they were in a bad marriage and needed a paycheck. And do you want to be always looking for your next job? Or do you want to make a career somewhere? If you have Peter Pan syndrome, there's nothing wrong with it, but own it. Look, I do freelancing because I like to travel and I don't like to have certain hours and I like to do what I want and how I do it, but I do my job. Okay, great. That's honest. But you can't walk into a corporation that's telling you to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the evening and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. But you've never done it before. So really be honest with yourself and the employer because you're wasting both people's time. The employer is going to be pissed because they just spent $10,000 onboarding you and you walked out. And then on the flip side of it, you're going to be pissed off because you don't want to do the job. So why put yourself in that situation?